It's Judd's Hockey Show.
Oh boy, is it Judd's Hockey Show. Post-game, Wild playoff game 4, Vegas Golden Knights 4, Wild 3 in overtime. I'm at the X. AJ is controlling things, of course, producing, co-hosting, going to be screening your calls, your appearances. I don't know what to call it, but let's get right to it. Let's give some thoughts here. Barbashev scores the overtime winner, and I turned to a guy, good friend of mine, sitting to my left right before that goal, and I had said, because you could tell guys were exhausted, I said, this game ends on a mistake. And Jake Middleton attempts to clear the puck. I think it was a little bit on edge in his defense. It looked like it was on the replay, and instead of clearing it or making it what you would have thought should be a crisp pass, he doesn't. It gets picked off by the Golden Knights. They throw it in front. Barbashev knocks it in, which is how goals are scored this time of year. And the series is now tied at 2. I thought it was overall a marvelous hockey game. Like, it was fun. The Wild is playing, this is as good a playoff hockey as I can recall seeing them play. Now, they probably played like this in 2015, but they haven't been to the second round age in 10 years. I thought this was a fantastic game. We could talk about the officiating. I felt it was very poor. There were definitely some calls missed. There were also, though, the problem is fans here get mad about things that you can't get mad about. I mean, Zeev Buyam, who did not play in OT, which I'm not surprised by, his stick hit Mark Stone in the face. Mm-hmm. Mark Stone was bleeding profusely, and fans are upset by the fact it's called a 4-minute penalty, which is by definition what it has to be. I thought the third goals in both cases shouldn't have counted. I thought that Hertl held Hartman, so the goal that basically I think went off Hertl, but it really went off Hartman a little bit. I thought that's a no goal, but the Spurgeon wraparound, Kaprizov got shoved a little bit and launched himself into Hill. Aiden Hill had no chance there. No. So I thought both goals, and if this was a regular season game, Vegas challenges, and I think that they win. I think both those goals shouldn't have counted. Long story short, the officiating was poor. But that being said, I thought this was a really fun game, and there's a ton to get to, but I would like to hear your takeaways. I would guess watching the game at home on TBS.
Yes. I'm going to say this first. My first thought is coming from the Wild fan part of my brain, like the very biased part, and then I'll get into more like maybe more unbiased analysis of the game. I feel like that game, on the reffing, probably couldn't have. It also has a good argument of not being able to go to overtime. Because in my mind, there was some missed calls, absolutely. But at the same time, I tweeted this out jokingly. But remember in game 1, Judd, when you could almost like stab somebody or beat somebody within an inch of their life in game 1, and then that was just totally fine. Tonight, it just felt like the exact opposite. They were almost looking for penalties, but then at the same time, there was stuff that they just let go. Zeev's high stick, that is a high stick. He caught Mark Stone like right on the eye. Actually, like looked very dangerous. Glad he got stitched up. Looks okay. That is a 4-minute minor penalty. But then, almost on the ensuing face-off out front, I believe it was Nicholas Waugh cross-checks Jake Middleton in the mouth. That does not get called. Of course. Guess who scores the next goal? Nicholas Waugh. A couple minutes later, shouldn't have been on the ice, arguably. Later on in the game, to go up 3-2. The face-off move where Hertl and Hartman get tied up, I do understand that Hartman kind of does get his arms wrapped around Hertl. You still cannot tackle a guy like that. It's a weird gray area because I really do think that shouldn't have counted in a but I don't know what you call, like, you can't after it's in say wait, we have to call something here. I feel like that's a very split second. You have to make that call immediately by the official.
Agreed.
Now that the moment has passed, it's like, okay, this is an awful look by us. And it was Dom Luchuzian. I don't know how to say his last name, from the Athletic, who's tweeted like, oh, we don't want to have we don't want to interfere too much and affect the outcome. Oh my God, it went off the guy that just got tackled. What do we do now?
Right.
Like it was like, that's a bad look.
Yep.
That being said, from the non-Wild fan portion of my brain, you got an overtime power play.
Right, I was going to say, and that makes up for
And you really didn't do anything with it.
That makes up for like 3 calls. Like an overtime power play is an act of God.
Right?
So I felt the officiating was bad, like just flat out bad. What did you think about? I've seen comments here. What was your? Because I'm here, so I saw replays, but I couldn't hear the commentary. What was the verdict on the Brazeau breakaway that was called offsides?
They didn't really linger on it, at least on the TBS broadcast, too much. They didn't have a good camera angle that showed it. They talked about how good of a pass it was by Faber, but they kind of did like a Tony Romo. I don't know, Jim. And it was like, all right, let's go to the next face-off.
Well, I guess what gets me though is I'm seeing that he got screwed out of a goal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Justin Brazeau. Like if that was Kaprizov, I would be livid. But it's Brazeau, so you got to assume he takes that pass and scores. So, but yeah, I couldn't tell. I could not tell. So was the justification that a part of his skate blade was on the blue line because one foot was totally offsides, which you can be, and the other was partially offside. But what I couldn't tell from the angle I saw was if the other part of that skate blade was over the line completely.
Yeah, and like Thomas said here on that broadcast, and this was something that they did a couple times when it was like, for instance, the cross check and like, that's iffy. That could really go either way, which I think we all know is broadcaster speak for. I think we know the answer, but I can't really say it because then that looks like I'm attacking the official, and we have Dave Jackson, loyal rule analytic guy who is not able to really criticize the official too much because that's his job, and I get that. I was gonna ask about, you mentioned Brazeau. That fourth line kind of had a weird night because they did once again create some offense. Marco Rossi gets another goal, but then they went 13:08. I think I saw the stat was in the second period. Didn't touch the ice again until that play, then offsides, immediately get called back off. So it was a weird kind of love-hate, like, thanks for doing some favors for us, but also we don't really want to play you. Trennan had multiple chances tonight, like breakaway. He had a chance to win the game and shut me up forever.
That's my point though about the offside call. Yeah. Like I saw a comment and I agree. If there's any question, let it play out. If he scores, it gets contested. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my point. And the fourth line did get, what was weird is they then did get ice time in the OT. So, like, I couldn't figure out what the mission was there. But, yeah, so a couple of comments ago, Marcus Johansson doesn't play. Gus Nyquist plays. Gus Nyquist does nothing today again, I didn't think. Mm-hmm. Yes, and that comment, I think they missed JoJo today. I will admit I'm shocked, but he's been great in the playoffs, is accurate. He has been a very nice fit in this series. But remember, the thing with him is whenever he plays well and hard, he gets hurt. Mm-hmm. Like he gets hurt all the time when he plays engaged. So I guess I'm not surprised. Yeah, so go back to your big picture takeaways.
Gustavsson, first off, I mean, this was pointed out. I tweeted like, what a save. Somebody made like what do you think about the commentary, especially granted on this show, we were very open to the idea of trading Filip Gustavsson a calendar year ago. Oh, yeah. But right now he is playing like one of the best goaltenders that this team has seen. He's keeping them in games. He is single-handedly like giving them a chance to win. That toe save that he made, that shut down, I want to say it was Dorofeyev. I could be wrong there. Like, that was a thing of beauty that maybe like my heart stopped for a second. The power play that we saw in overtime, and they go back to Spurgeon on the point to kind of quarterback it, and it kind of brought back the snooze fest trauma hours that I've dealt with before Zeev Buium. And granted, I do understand John Hines thinking Game 4 of a playoff game. He's never won a playoff series. This team, it feels like, has never won a playoff series as of late. I do understand going back to a veteran, but it was just, it didn't really feel like it had too much pizzazz. for a crowd, and you can probably attest to this more being there in the building, it didn't look like anybody in the lower bowl at least sat down for that entire overtime session. They wanted to blow the roof off the XL Energy Center, and it felt like on the overtime power play, the Wild, they didn't really threaten enough to really have that fan like ice tilt go in their favor and really push Vegas to like drowning out. They can't talk out there. They're overwhelmed. And granted, those are professional athletes. They're probably going to zone that out as much as possible, but it never felt like the Wild were able to really almost have the dagger like right near the heart. It was kind of like, oh, we have a weapon in our hands, but we don't know how to use it.
The Spurgeon move was you could actually discuss that. That was sort of a, in my opinion, conservative move by Hines. Mm-hmm. I think I would have rather had Faber run the point than Spurgeon. Spurgeon's, in my opinion, power play wise now in his career, Spurgeon's a very meh type of power play guy. Now I get Zeev, I get the Zeev thing. Okay, I totally get that. Absolutely. So I got no problem with that. But I probably would have had Faber run the point and go back to before Bouillon was signed. Obviously, the power play deficiencies were such that they were going with 5 forwards, which there's no way that you're going to do against a team that has a shorthanded goal in Vegas in the series in Game 3 and a team that can score that way. So you were going to put a defenseman out there. I agree with it. It probably would have been Brock. But, I mean, when you are gifted a power play early in the OT, you got to score on that. Like, you got to score. Like, you got to – and it felt like Adin Hill at some point in time today realized – oh, that's right. I got pads on. I'm a goaltender. That's my profession. Because he did make some nice saves. But I'm totally with your point, which is that power play, like, that's the referee's gift. Because I'll say this. The WAP penalty that was called on Eriksson driving to the net was a regular season penalty, but there was far more. I mean, on the ice below me here, I saw far more egregious that could have been called than that. Like, it was a hold, but you had, like, I swear to God, 10 possible penalties that were more egregious than that. But yeah, let's go back but
maybe before we go back, do you want to maybe head to, we have a couple.
We do. Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. First off, let's get to Cade here. And if you do want to join, JHS Vent Line at gmail.com is where you're going to be emailing into. We'll send you a link to get on the show. But first, let's go to our guy here, Cade. Cade, you're on JHS Vent Line.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How are you?
Good. Could be better.
Good. Hey, what I realized is we turned the puck over a lot today. Turning it over a lot. Flipping it up in the air. Doing all this dumb stuff that we don't need to do, that we did not do well. Another thing, Kirill Kaprizov did not have a good game. Turning it over left and right.
Great point. Mm-hmm. Very average today. Very average. And I kept expecting, like, the first 2 periods, I said, like, did he go out last night? Like, he looks like he's tired. But then I thought, okay, 3rd period OT, he's going to star. I was really frustrated. I think it was on the power play. He was near the top of the slot with the puck, and it's like, I think he did shoot. I think he missed, but I mean, that's a shot you got to get on goal, because that's the one thing. So Mark Stone took that shot, and Gustavsson made the save, but for the most part, the goaltender can't see the puck, and it's going through a maze. I'm with you. I was really surprised because Krill's been so good the first 3 games. Yeah, he was definitely not the player that we had seen. You're right about that.
Yeah, and then my other point is that Bogosian and Zeev Bouillon, they did okay tonight. They did good, in my opinion. Zeev did good, did a lot better shooting the puck.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. He looked more comfortable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought he didn't look scared, which I mean, I don't blame him. So, all right, great stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah,
appreciate it. And they need to get rid of Nyquist right now.
Yeah, amen.
Gone.
Put him by me. You know what? I got plenty of seats to my left and right in the press box. And right now, I'm doing as much for this team as he is. So the 2 of us should go eat popcorn.
And I do think Hennestroza did a decent job for filling in tonight. And then now I'm done.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Thanks, Cade. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I don't think that Hennestroza, like, as much as I think I do enjoy what he does, he doesn't fill the type of play. And I can't believe I'm saying this, Judd. But the type of play that Marcus Johansson was bringing to the Wild, it's been something that we've been waiting all year. But the past couple of games has really been a nice offensive guy for this team, driving play. He's done kind of everything right, which I can't think we've said much all season long, but it was a kind of big shoes to fill, him stepping in for what Vinny Hinostroza has.
Yep.
I think he did all right, but it wasn't the same type of like plug and play guy.
Just a quick thought too.
Yeah.
Is it not time to elevate Marco Rossi?
It is. It really is.
Is it not like what more? I mean, I don't know what the metrics are going to say post game. I don't know if they're out yet, but you tell me what Freddie Gaudreau is doing so damn well.
I can't. Defensively, I think they probably are similar. I understand he's a taller hockey player overall, but when it comes to having a guy right there that you want to be able to generate some offense and this the quotes. I don't know if you saw Mike Russo's article about Rossi a day or two ago, but it's just team first. And granted, he talked to the
media. Yep.
He did exactly what you should do in that situation for a guy that potentially, your future is murky waters. You don't know exactly what it is, but it's the same thing that we've gotten from him. So I don't think it's a facade. He's not like putting on a mask and just kind of pushing through it. I really truly feel like he is a team first guy through and through. I don't know what the holdup here is, what behind the scenes there are that keeps his elevation in the lineup, because I feel like defensively he's capable. Offensively, I know he's capable. He was the third highest scorer on the team this regular season. I just don't understand the thought process there to still be keeping him in the bottom four, despite having now back-to-back games with goals on that fourth line.
If he refused to play tough, like if he was a weak player, because he's not very big, I would get it totally. But then he wouldn't belong on the fourth line. And the other thing too is he doesn't refuse to play tough. He goes to dirty areas like he's 6'2". So yeah, I don't get it. Who's next?
As soon as I send this one off here, we've got, I believe it is Southeast Wisconsin. Bill, is that correct, Bill?
That is correct. I am here in Southeast Wisconsin in the middle of Packerland, enjoying the draft.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. What's up?
Well, again, what a lot of us seem to forget is at the start of this series, it was pretty obvious that Vegas is a better team. They played better all year, and they're really a more complete team. But the Wild have really brought their A game, 4 straight games, and maybe they should play Vegas in the playoffs every year, because the last time I remember them bringing in even more than one game was the 2021 series against Vegas. Since 2015, it's really the only other series they've played at least 3-4 games that were this competitive, and I'm really encouraged at where they're going. And again, I can be doom crying about them. I'm not real happy with how they've gone about trying to fix their playoff woes. And I think you said it a lot of times, the defense is just getting pushed around a lot. They're not winning faceoffs at key times, and it's critical in the playoffs. But I think there's a reason to be positive going into the offseason, because they really have exceeded my expectations in how well they played. And I hope you guys agree.
When's the last time that you feel, to your point about the playoffs, Bill, when's the last time that you have seen them exert this much physical? Like they are, for the most part, they are winning the battles on the boards. They are playing a tough, like that's my biggest complaint previously in recent years. Dallas, the Blues, they just got pushed around. And it's like, do you guys have no pride? I'll tell you one guy today that I think this is the best game I've ever seen him play, Marcus Foligno.
Yep.
He was everywhere, and I mean, he was a menace. So yeah, I actually thought today's game was fantastic, and also Thursday's game. But I think if there was a metric for want to, I think the Wild is winning the want to, which it's been a long time, because it's hard in the playoffs since I've seen that.
Yep, I absolutely agree, and it's encouraging. I hate to be positive because I'm a Minnesota sports fan, but I'm actually very encouraged by this team right now.
I don't disagree. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Enjoy the Packers.
Yeah, or not. Let's go next to Sean down in Tampa here, who looks to be enjoying that warm Florida weather.
I am.
Sean.
Not so much about the game, but very much so. There are still plenty of Minnesota fans down here in Florida, but oh my goodness, the start time for games 1 and 2.
It's awful. I mean, it's bad for us.
Yeah.
I can only imagine 1 hour in. It's insanity. But I mean, was able to skip for the first period, game one. Went to bed for game two because of work, and
Yeah.
I got to say though, it was again Foligno, as the other caller just mentioned, absolute monster, absolute beast of a player. But I am, based on how 2022 and 2023 went, very concerned, considering this is how this is kind of how the pattern goes. I'm praying I'm wrong. I am praying I'm wrong, but I'm hoping that we're able to go into Vegas, at least get one more steal potentially on the road. But
I don't feel like I've seen them, and I might be wrong here, but I don't feel like I've seen this team when they've in the recent playoff years lost this game play like this though. I feel like they shrink. I don't feel like they shrunk. Like I think they played a very hard, tough game, and yes, Jake's pass was terrible and it cost them dearly, but it's not like they collapsed. It's not like it looked like the pressure. Like I still, to a large degree, I actually like their game more than the Golden Knights game. Now I think the Golden Knights have talent, but I think I like their game more.
I agree. I'm partly thinking that maybe John Hines might be that said coach. I mean, I know obviously it wasn't that with Ebsen, but I think John Hines, I mean, I doubted at first, but I think he's put a fire under their team in some way, shape, or form, and I'm just hoping that they continue that fight all the way throughout, win or lose. So
absolutely. Good stuff.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks,
Enjoy Florida.
Thanks, AJ. Come on down sometimes. All right.
All right. And then let's get over here and keep in mind everybody that is still watching that if you want to join those guys in being on the show, email into jhsventline@gmail.com. Let's bring on next here Jack. You're on JHS Vent Line.
Hi, Jack.
Jack might have switched tabs. Let's put him in the back for right now.
I wouldn't have known that.
That's all right. Sometimes you got different windows. Let's go to Seth here. Seth, you're on JHS Vent Line. You there?
Hi, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes,
perfect.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry, I got to switch to my headphones.
No worries.
Yeah, like honestly, even though it's like they played good, it's just the most Minnesota sports thing ever. Like they kept saying at the beginning of the show, the Wild have never had a 3-1 lead, and every single time that they said that, I'm like, they're playing great right now, but somehow, some way, something's gonna fall apart, and that's what happened in the third period. Kirill Kaprizov did let me down a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
You guys say a lot about Gus Nyquist, which is like I do agree with, but I don't know if you guys remember, like 2 years ago when the Wild were in the playoffs, he was like, we wanted him elevated.
Yep. He was really good.
Coach at the time would not do it for whatever reason. And now it's kind of like him and Freddie Gaudreau. It's I don't want to say that they're not trying. It just doesn't feel like they're giving the 110% that like Boldy, Eriksson Ek, Foligno are giving. And if they can do that, I think that the Wild can win this series in 6. But
I think the difference is this. So on Nyquist, I think he might be cooked because he played for the Predators and was doing nothing there. And I think the thought was, okay, he gets traded for a second-round pick, right? And then he's going to come in here and sort of get that spark back that you're talking about from a couple of years ago. And now I watch him, and I'm just like, there's not much there. On Gaudreau, I think he's giving everything he can. I think here's the problem. He is a victim of the Peter principle. He's been elevated too high. He is in my opinion, he's a really good, really effective bottom 6 guy. But now they're expecting something from him that I don't think, in a playoff atmosphere, right, against the Golden Knights team that's really, pretty damn good. I don't think he has the ability to do what the Wild wants and or need, and which is why I would just make the switch and put him down, because I think Gaudreau between Trennan and Brazeau would actually be a very effective line. And Rossi then, who seems to be playing well, I mean, he scored 2 goals past 2 games, right? So I think if you put him with more skilled guys, you're probably going to get more skill from that line. And let me say this. If anyone is going to sort of help unlock guys who are struggling, I think it's a facilitator like Rossi as opposed to what is probably a north and south guy like Gaudreau. So with him, I think he's trying as hard as possible. I just don't know that he belongs where he's being played, and it seems like John Hines is being pretty stubborn about admitting to that.
100%. And the other thing is, I think that I don't want to be that guy. The Golden Knights outshot the Wild. I wouldn't say they outskated the Wild or outperformed the Wild, but they outshot the Wild, which, I mean, pucks on net in the playoffs that's the moral of the story. But at the first period, there was like a hooking call on Hartman they didn't call. Kaprizov got hit in the numbers. Even though, Zuccarello didn't necessarily get tripped, it kind of owed the Wild a little bit of a call, in my personal opinion, not biased whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just gotta pray to God. I don't want to see the Los Angeles Rams all over again, and I don't want to turn this show on and have to listen to you guys talk about that. But I do appreciate it. You guys have a good one, and go Wild.
You too.
Hey,
Thank you very much. Good stuff. Good stuff.
And let's go back and try our guy Jack here. Jack, you ready to rock with us now?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh.
Get that camera on yourself, Jack.
You're going to adjust that camera, and I think the jersey might be a little bit of an issue for some of the people.
Oh, wow. It's a Golden Knights jersey, Jack.
Yes, indeed. Coming in here from Norfolk, Virginia. Firstly,
Okay.
I will say your earlier caller from Tampa, I completely sympathize, empathize. Yeah, 11 p.m. start, not exactly fun.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, on my end of the territory, I've been getting 10 p.m. starts all season. I'm kind of used to it. With that said, it's the ultimate back and forth game in the playoffs. I end up listening to it on radio for the most part, but I think it was not very long ago this afternoon that I was in our season is going to end on Tuesday. It's going to end Tuesday night, and how things can change.
It's hockey, man. It's a weird sport.
Gustavsson played great. Minnesota played great. And now, best of three, looking forward to it.
So, hey, as a Golden Knights fan, how do you feel the team has played? Like, what's your assessment of the Golden Knights? Because there's been large spurts of time I've actually been disappointed with them.
Oh, if you want me to go and start going down that line of things, absolutely. It's like top line, Eichel, Stone. They've felt like for most of the series they basically weren't showing up, and yes, Stone showed up today. It would have been nice if he hadn't had to bounce it off of Hurdle to do so, but yeah, he did what he needed to do, and power play, obviously, good to get that going. Well, good for Vegas.
Yeah, no, I got you.
That once again. So, got stuff that has not been showing, has been major issues the last couple games, and it's finally going, and we've reset the series, and that was a big hurdle that, pun intended, that I'm not entirely sure I necessarily expected we were going to be able to pull off. And then Theodore and McNabb, of course, also very much improved after Game 2 and Game 3. And how many goals did they gift you guys? Don't
What's
answer
that? Oh, yeah.
Too many.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
If the people watching, if you're listening, watching right now, and you want to flip the tides back with some Wild fans and Wild perspective, JHS Vent Line at gmail.com.
AJ, one of our earlier guests talked about the turnovers by the Wild, and I'm looking at the official stat sheet right here, and it looks like the Wild had 17 giveaways. The Golden Knights had 11. Blocked shots, the Golden Knights blocked, and I felt like they did a lot of this early because I think, quite frankly, they were afraid of the puck getting through to Aiden Hill. The Golden Knights blocked 23 shots, and the Wild had the same. Here's the Kirill Kaprizov line, okay?
Okay.
He had an assist. He played 28-12, 30 shifts. He had 4 shots that were blocked. He had, it looks like, a couple shots that were missed. He only had 2 shots on goal in the entire game.
That feels unacceptable for a game that almost went 4 full.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, that struck me as like that dude has. Well, there was the one in OT where I think it was in the overtime again. Zuccarello and him were on the ice together, and sure enough, and this is a league-wide problem too. Teams are looking for shooting lanes that they almost get stubborn about not shooting. And now there are block shots. Don't get me wrong, but there was a situation in OT on the power play, I'm pretty sure, where they decided to pass again. And it's like, just put the puck on Aiden Hill. He's struggling. Like, get the puck through. I don't think it was like a far shot either. But those are the type of things, yeah, I'm with you. It feels like 2 shots on goal for 97 is about, in this much time that they play today, is about 3 too few in my humble assessment of things.
Yeah, I know the number you asked for, I think the other day was 10. Maybe a little excessive, but I don't think you're too far off there. It should be 5 minimum, especially when you're going to overtime. Like, that is, you're going to be leaning on him so much. Give me the time on ice for him again one more time.
He 28-12. Boldy, by the way, 33-08.
Yeah, look, for as much as he has disappeared at times, this right now is once again exactly the type of player that we know he to be when he wants to. Whether doesn't have to be prime time, and that's why like prime time Matt Boldy comes out, or what the deal is. I thought he had another fantastic game, but yeah, Kirill Kaprizov, you're almost at 30 minutes for the night. You're playing over like essentially half of a game. I need more than 2 shots. You have a top 2 shot on the ice of the people that are making up both of these teams. When you want to be, you are the best player on the ice. He's influencing the game in other ways other than just shooting the puck, obviously, but he has such a good, explosive, quick release shot. He's able to pick corners. I mean, he is a goal scorer.
Yep.
2 shots through this game. I would like to know how many of those were blocked, like shot.
4.
He had
4.
Still not enough.
4. So he tried to, but I mean, he's the type of guy too who I think needs to continue to shoot. Like, if they get blocked, he just needs to continue to shoot. Yes, he is at the end of the day, he's a marvelous player and can do a lot of things, but he is a goal scorer. And when you almost play 4 full periods, which they did, I need more than 2 shots to get through. Yeah, Boldy was certainly not as good as he had been in the first 3 games, but that being said, I still think that he was incredibly solid. He had 3 shots on goal. Here's a stat too, and I saw someone defending him, and I'm fine with this. Jake Middleton had a game high 7 block shots, and somebody said he got hit in the head by one, which is sort of hard to tell from up here in the press box. But I felt, and I don't know if this came through on TV where you just get shots of guys. I feel like he's playing with something. And that's the problem. Okay, so the Booyam thing I sort of get, right. It's overtime. You have trepidation about him playing, but when you do that and you have the threat of OT going on and on and on, and now you shorten it up to 5 defensemen. Age, I mean, Middleton, when he made that I felt his passing mistake was a mistake he doesn't make if it's the first period. 1, he looks like something might be wrong, but 2, just the amount of time, and he played 29-17 today. So like, that's the thing, that is a lot of time. Of course, Fabes played 33-07, 43 shifts because he's the Matrix, or I don't know what he is.
He's incredible. He's just a machine. What was the Nicholas Lidstrom, like the perfect human? Is that wasn't that his nickname? I don't think we're quite there yet,
right?
By any means with Brock Faber, but in terms of Minnesota defensemen, franchise history, that's about as close as it can be.
Mark, excuse me. The last comment right now is claiming that he got hit, that Jake got hit in the head. Again, I didn't see that. I think he got cross-checked in the face, which you brought up.
That's what I think.
I wonder if that's what he means.
I think that's what you're referring to, because I thought that he, similar to Mark Stone, like on TV, we didn't see until after a replay was shown. I thought Mark Stone, a puck came up and caught him, and then Middleton, I saw him go down in a heap in front of the net after the Booyam 4-minute power play. That one like it was weird because there was a lot of bodies out front, and then they didn't necessarily show it, but it sounds like maybe on the FanDuel broadcast they did. But I guess it got him clear in the chops. I thought it was a block shot, but I guess many people are saying it was a cross check that Waugh then should have probably gone to the box for. I didn't see it myself, but that's what I think you're referring to.
Yeah, and here's a comment. Crackerjack has one about the Middleton pass. Yeah, he lost his balance and his man. 3 awful plays in the game-winning goal sequence. Yes, he did. He lost his balance. He fell down as a result of the mistake because he tried to cover up for it. Yeah, I mean, it's a bad play. There's no defending it. It's a bad play. But I'm just saying, I'm throwing out there that when you go down, when you're going to play essentially 4 or more periods of hockey, and you go down to 5 defensemen, that's asking a lot. So you're not like. By late in the OT, there were a lot of guys, not just Jake, who looked exhausted. And that's not an excuse, but that is a recipe for mistakes. That is a clear-cut recipe. And not everybody can play endless time. There's a select few, right? There always have been. There's a select few guys that can play. And I don't know how they do it, but they can just play and play and play. And they might get tired, but they still play through it. Not everyone can do that. And so no excuses. That play has to be made, and we could have, just while I'm on a side tangent here, Age, we could have a whole discussion. I've brought this up to you before, but the more I watch it, the more I can't figure it out. The breakout patterns and the passing in today's game, like it just amazes me. Like the middle of the ice is used at times when you should, like, I understand you think that's how you're going to get out, but it's like crashing a car. It's like driving as fast as you can at a wall, and it's like, okay, but the airbag will save me. I don't understand, and it's not just this team. Vegas loves the reverse backhand breakout, and that was on the guy he's a first pairing defenseman, and the guy who I think's been awful a lot, Noah Hannafin, who got his pocket picked by Boldy in Game 3. Mm-hmm. And, like, these guys are living fast and dangerous. And I'm sure that they're told that, hey, this is our style to break out. But, like, this backhand crap, it's like the backhand is one of the most unreliable things. The reason why goaltenders hate backhand shots is why, Age, because they knuckle on guys and you don't necessarily know where it's going to go. But you're telling me this is a great idea to break out. The other thing, too, is if you want to talk about puck over the glass problems, the backhand, you can't control the backhand. So what are we doing? Like, I know it's 2025 and we've got new ideas and theories, but I would love to see a study. I would love to see an analytical study of, like, what are used as how many times they're unsuccessful because these teams have come up with these, like, complex ideas of, I just don't understand it.
Well, a big reason, too, why the backhand has become so unreliable is because with technology advancing, like, Judd not to pull the back in your day card, but back in your day, like, sticks were basically you had to curve them yourself. If you've seen Miracle, they got the blowtorch and the bending, the curve and stuff. They were flat. They were straight. So the backhand was a viable option because it didn't have as much bend. Nowadays, if you walk into any hockey retailer, you have crazy, like, the P88s or the P92s and the massives and all this stuff. But it's so curved that, like, the face does not cater well to what you want to do. So you have such small real estate to work with. So it's so hard to control. It's wild at times, and you're exactly right. Like, goalies hate it because when you can put it on net, it's a tough shot to stop.
It knuckles.
But when you're trying to clear your own zone, it's not reliable. If you do get it up in the air, you don't really have an idea of just how good it's going to be. And granted, I'm talking as a guy that plays men's league every once in a while. These are professional. They probably know a lot better, but there's no reason to be opting to go when you have an extra second or two to go to your forehand. There's no reason to not do that. You want to go back to some calls here?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Next up here, let's get over to Dylan. Dylan, you're on JHS Vent Line.
Oh man, it's gonna clean the glasses. Can you hear me?
We got you loud and clear.
Perfect.
How far do we want to go back, boys? Because I've been following this team since I missed us when I was living in Hawaii in 2016. But every playoff series since then has been brutal. I'll just go to like Vegas in 2021. There's actually a reactionary video of Judd that came up, Declan, and said AJ wasn't here yet with you. Game 4, that was an L. I mean, then Dallas, game 4, L. And you could just see the game when it was 2-1 today, like, oh, man, just score the third. How about a call? How about a call? No calls. Whistles in the pocket. Walk out of the other room, come back in. Williams in the box for 4 minutes. Okay, impossible to argue about that.
Yeah.
But just bad luck. And then what upset me, Midzi gets hit in the head while we're serving a 4-minute penalty. I'm sorry, any other team in the NHL, the refs call that because they like feel guilty. There's something about being a Minnesota fan that it's just like, whether we're on the road, the refs screw us. When we're at home, that's okay. They're Minnesota nice. We can screw them there too.
Well, I will say this, like I told Age before, you do have to keep in mind that the Wild was given an OT power play, which is a huge gift. Yeah, right. But I'm just saying, like, if they capitalize, then we're not really talking about the refs because we're like, hey, they got an OT power play, which of course we're not going to bitch about. But I felt like the refs realized that, and they did. They had a bad day, and so because I got to be honest, he held Eck, but that was not nowhere near the most egregious penalties that we saw today. Many of them were not called, and that to me, the fact that you didn't do more on that power play was a real detriment because that's where you end the game, right? Like you bring the game to an end there, and they went to Spurgeon at the point, which, as AJ said, is not exactly inspiring, and they really didn't do much. And Kaprizov, not in that case too, Kaprizov having easily his worst game of the playoffs so far cost you because
did a good job of shadowing him though, and Eichel
he did a great job,
and that's what their plan.
He did a great job.
It's his birthday. Let's shut him down. Eichel was all over him all day.
He was
get any points.
Yep. But I mean, he did a great job. But you're Kirill, and it's the power play. Like that's the time to step up. But I mean, yeah, it's I don't know, man. I gotta be honest. It's a tough loss, and 3-1 basically would have been a dagger. But I still think there's real possibilities here. Like I haven't seen anything where I'm like, okay, now they just look like crap, right? Or now they look soft. I guess I'm an optimist,
and I'm kind of with you, but my heart just.
I like what I saw.
Being bitter today, I want to say we're going to lose in 6 now, but I think you're right. We could still win this in 7. It's like to break the curse of what we're in. I mean, I was at the Twins game when we beat Toronto. Thank God.
There you go.
In those home runs, but that's kind of where we're at with the Wild. Like we're going to need something dry. It's not going to come that easy, like a 3-1 win today. Although the last thing I'm going to say though. To counter your one point about us getting the power play in overtime, it's just a little too late for the makeup call. How about we do the mid-Z call after the 4-minute because they should have never scored that second goal. They should have been 4-on-4, and we had such a foothold in the game at 2-1, and then 2-2. Okay, you're going to let Hartman get tackled and then let Stone throw a puck off him. Not only are we not on the power play then, they score a goal, and that's unreviewable, of course. Which it totally is because it wasn't
right because you can't call a penalty on that.
Yeah, holes in review.
You're right. Yeah.
But,
All right. Well, keep the faith.
You guys have
keep the faith.
Keep the faith. Yeah.
Keep the faith. It's 2-2. It's not 3-2 yet. It's 2-2. So.
And I'm really happy that we're playing Vegas, not Colorado, not Dallas, not. That Anaheim game was so huge. I was sitting behind Target Field watching it on my phone, and when we scored 20 seconds left to tie it, I'm telling everyone there, and no one really realizes the importance, but like I watch almost every game all season, and if we're playing Winnipeg, the whole team's hurt by now. They would have just ran through us. Logan Stanley would have
cooked Kaprizov, Zuccarello. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
All right, next here, Odin Father 1025. You're on JHS Vent Line.
Wow.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. So my only real thoughts on the game is that John Hines doesn't really like to play the young guys much because I feel personally like Ogren would have been better than Hinostroza, especially after that first penalty that cost the goal. But I just feel like a lot of Minnesota sports tend to veer away from the young guys and just letting them play. But that's all I really got.
All right, man. Thank you. Let's address that. First of all, I think the Ogren thing is way more than John Hines' age. I think it's Billy Guerin.
Yeah.
Like he's with the Black Aces, which means he's not really part of this whole thing. He's just here. I don't think that's a John Hines call. Now, do I think that Rossi still being on the fourth line is mostly a John Hines call, if not solely? Yes, absolutely do. So I'm not saying that I don't have bones to pick with John Hines, but I don't think Ogren has anything to do with Hines. I think that comes from the GM box that I'm pointing to that way right now, far more than Hines. And for whatever reason, they definitely have spent the majority of the season feeling like Ogren was not prepared to play, which I got to be honest, I thought when the season started by now that he would be that he would definitely be on a line. So I'm surprised, but I wouldn't point the finger at Hines for Ogren not playing. And with Johansson going out today, Hinostroza coming in.
Yeah, and that's on Ogren. I felt like he was going to be a guy that probably makes the team out of camp at the start of the season, but clearly, like, given the injury struggles, and granted, he got up for some of those, but the overall injury struggles that this team and bad play of certain wingers, it really felt like there was a clear path at times where if you wanted a new guy to take that spot, Liam Ogren was there. He was up for a little while. I thought his play was limited because his opportunities were limited at times, but after being sent down, he had a really solid stretch with Iowa. And then now, I understand that there's probably, with John Hines not going to buoy him on the power play. There was a big debate at the end of the season. Are they going to play buoy him? It's a young kid over a guy like John Merrill heading into the playoffs. Like it's a big, it's the most important time of the year. You haven't seen that Ogren can necessarily sustain high level play at a level of like game impactfulness like you would need probably for these next couple of games. And now to have him come up, you're joining midway through the series. It'd be such a weird, everybody else is firing at 110%. The speed is so much different than what it is in like February. As much as I would probably like to see it, that is why like those guys wear the suits, are in the GM box, having those discussions. They know probably a lot more than I do, and I will trust them on that call. But if we learn that tomorrow Ogren's going to make his playoff debut and he's going to be in the lineup, I think I'd be pleased with it. I'd be excited. And also, if that's the Marcus Johansson like replacement now, I can understand that because that is, I think, a little more offensive upside than what Vinny Hinostroza needed to bring tonight. But it's you're asking him to do too much, where Ogren, I think, can probably fill that role better.
And if a mistake was made, indeed with Ogren there was a mistake made, it was in not incorporating him before. I don't think you incorporate him now. But if there was,
yeah,
like the only thing, I don't really have a strong take here, but I do have a strong take on Rossi should be up. I do have a strong take on the current construction of things, but as far as a guy who they just didn't trust, you're not going to put that guy in now. If nothing else, there's going to be too much concern internally about his defensive capabilities on those assignments, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, there are some things there, but I mean, I will say this. I mean, Nyquist is getting way too much slack. Goudreau should be demoted because I think it'll help him. I like the guy. When
you say slack, is in like too much length of a leash, or like we're giving him too much slack?
No. The team, John Hines and company, are giving him too much of a leash to continue to play and contribute absolutely nothing. He's either fried or he's not any good, and they're both pretty much one in the same. I mean, he's done nothing. Just quickly, too, so the Eichel Barbashev, who obviously scored the OT winner, and Stone line finally does get on the board. Eichel, an assist, a -2. Stone, an assist, a +1, and Barbashev actually 2 points, a goal, an assist, and a +1. So their 3-game scoreless stretch is done. But you know what? If you told me before the game Jack Eichel and Mark Stone are going to account for 2 assists, 1 apiece, I would have taken that and said, I bet the Wild wins. So
yeah. Let's go next here to Chris. And Chris, in his email included a screenshot. It's not the physical notebook like I know you do at the games, Judd, but it was about as thick as of an iPhone's note app that I think you can have.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I love to hear that.
Chris, welcome to the show.
I get I do podcasting, but I get very nervous when I go on shows like this. So I have to write everything down, and like it's usually like 3 or 4 pages before I do a full podcast. But
I just forget stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember it, but I'm 55. So,
and I wanted to make sure I got all my takes here. So first of all, enjoy the work. Love you guys. Judd, AJ, and Jesse, you all do a great job. I'm not the most positive Wild fan in the world, but sometimes I just want to stick my fingers in the wound, and you guys are great therapy when I want to do that.
Thank you.
You know, when it was 2-1, I was having trouble like enjoying the series, even though the Wild was absolutely dominating the last 2 games. And I was trying to figure out why. And I woke up this morning and I figured it out because, you know, when I compared this team, you know, when they went on this big start and everybody said, oh, this team is different. This team is different. I'm like, yeah, wait till the playoffs, wait till the playoffs, wait till the playoffs. So today I woke up and I'm like, oh, it's game 4. You got a 2-1 lead. You got a chance to really put your boot on the throat of these guys. And I remember the last couple of times they've been in this situation. You mentioned it before. You know, the Blues series, they crapped down their leg. The Stars series, they crapped down their leg, lost 3 straight games. And this is what I always thought about when people would rave about this team. So, you know, they lost the game, but I don't feel like they melted down. Like, I hate them. I hate the moral victory thing, but, you know, game 4 against the Stars was my breaking point as a Wild fan, where Marcus Foligno, he charged across the ice. It may have been a questionable call, but it's like, why are you putting yourself in that position there? Game 5, he has the knee on knee against the Stars. And it's like, why are you doing that? And then they go and they talk to Dean Evison, and he looks like a deer in headlights. Like he just saw his life flash before his eyes. So when it comes to this team, I feel like they have a chance in game 5 because the standard seems to have been raised. You know, they had all these corny sayings in the past, like grit first, and they don't show grit. You know, it's all about winning.
There's no saying now.
First round. Yeah, there's no saying.
There's no saying.
Like, they got rid of the hard chain too, which I thought was stupid. And now they're like, nope, playoff pucks, 16 pucks in a case.
Right.
We win a game, we put a puck in the case. Like this feels very business-like, and there's not that corny energy around it. So I'm curious for game 5. I think it's going to be a fun game.
I think that is Hines. Like I think Hines doesn't want the crap. Like he doesn't want the he wants them to have an approach, a system, which by the way, they've done a lot of. And yeah, I'm with you. It's not a moral victory. Those don't exist. But what it is you never said I had no feeling today of, oh God, they're melting down. The series is done now. Like I thought that their approach, I mean, they easily could have won today. And I thought the approach for the majority of this game was outstanding. And here's the other thing too, that we've not talked about a ton yet, but we can now. You know, Filip Gustavsson is giving you goaltending that you haven't gotten in years in the playoffs. Like he's making, as Age said, right now, the job that he is doing, tracking pucks, and I know that the goal that won the game was like this, but for the most part, the job he's doing tracking pucks in front of him and tracking rebounds has been phenomenal. And you're going to give up greasy goals, but he's not allowing 3 or 4 per game. It's been a long time, a very long time, since the Wild has had a series in which the goaltending, and I still think this is true through game 4, in which the goaltending advantage is the Wild. It's not the opponent. Hill played better today, but Gus has overall still been superior to Hill in this series. This series would be much different if Gustafsson was playing okay, as opposed to, I think, really, really well.
They could still lose this series, but I feel like it's more of a coin flip than it was at the beginning of the series. So
agreed.
We'll just see what happens, and then you know, you get that information and you go into the offseason with the money you have and fill the hole. So.
Exactly. All right, great stuff, man.
Hey, thanks, Chris.
Good job.
Thanks, guys.
Chris was fine.
He was great.
He did not seem on edge at all. I thought his takes were spot on. But yeah, I did want to bring up Gustafsson because, as you know, first of all, that last goal is not his fault. But second of all, he made a number of saves today on shots sort of like that, where he is tracking the puck something fierce. And there have been, I think, Age, that we both could agree on this. There have been several Wild goaltenders in big games who have struggled to track the puck.
Yeah, big time.
You think?
Yeah. Just to compare like the goalies too, just because these are kind of still trickling in for the analytics side of things. Aiden Hill today, 0.23 goals save above expected. So like he faced less shots, I believe, at the end of the night. So he did, in a sense, play above average, but not very much, like very, very little. Filip Gustavsson, 1.45 goals save above expected. He was standing on his head again. Once again, he put the Wild in a position late in the game to win, and that's exactly all they need. Like, imagine if this was, I mean, a year ago, this version of Filip Gustavsson would not be doing any sort of performing like this. Think about like the Devin Dubnyk days, the Alex Stalock days. Like, when's the last time that we saw a goalie? He's in the crease, and you're like, all right, that is a set and forget. I don't have to worry about that. I know he's gonna go out there and play a high level of game, other than like short bursts of like Devin Dubnyk arriving, and he had that.
Was Backy in goal for the Colorado series win, like 2012 or 13 that they won in Game 7 in OT? Was that Backy?
I don't think that was. I feel like that. I think that was Dubnyk, was it not, or was it still Backstrom at that time?
No, I think Dubnyk arrived after that. I think. I mean, I don't remember, but I want to say that might have been.
I think you're right.
I don't remember the series. I don't remember the goaltending that well, but I want to say that might be the last time. Like the last time that jumps to mind, the Wild-wise, was the Rolison Fernandez rotation, where both of them like took turns playing great in 2003, yeah. And then before that, you'd have to go back to John Casey in '91 in the North Stars run to the finals. But I mean, it changes everything when you get a goaltender who can do, for the most part, what Gustafsson has been doing.
Yeah, and it looks like he looks like he was with the team, but he didn't actually play in the 2012 playoffs.
Who was a goaltender?
I'm trying to find out, because it looks
like somebody will know here.
Oh, was that Josh Harding at that time?
No. We're getting Brizgalov, Kemper, and back to Brizgalov for the 2014. So I'm going to guess the goaltending was not the key to the win there. Then, although Briz was one of my favorites, complete nut job, great guy.
Personality wise,
absolutely,
mad.
Absolutely crazy. But yeah, thanks for the update or the information on that from Lucas Beckstrom. We appreciate it. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Final thoughts from you on a series that will now shift back for Game 5 to Vegas in what day now? Tuesday?
I think it's a Tuesday. I think time is still TBD.
Okay.
At least last time I looked.
I think we're trying to find out if some series might be done by then, probably. Because if the proper series are done, we might actually not drop the puck at 10:15 Central, 11:15 Eastern time. All of it ridiculous.
Game 5 is Tuesday, April 29th. Game 6 will be Thursday, May 1st. And then if needed, the always exciting Game 7 will be Saturday, May 3rd. All time still TBD. Gotcha. My final thoughts, though, are just honestly similar to what Chris said in his, which is I think this team through 4 games now has shown that even when they play poor, like more poor than what we've seen them play at like a perfect high level hockey. We've seen them dominate teams at that, and that's when they were atop the league entering December. They were one of the top teams in the league even through the month of December until Kirill and X started really leaving with their injury hiatus. They've shown that in this series, the Vegas Golden Knights are not like this titan of hockey. They are not this Stanley Cup or bust type. Maybe they are. Maybe they view themselves like that. But I don't think my confidence in like Vegas, if they were to make it past this round, is as high as it was a week ago when the series was starting. The Wild have really shown that either they've exposed that they're a beatable team, or the Wild are much better than what I was maybe anticipating heading into this playoff series. So now it's a best of 3. They have shown they can win on the road down in Vegas, but it's going to be really tough because now you're deeper into the playoff series. There was times today where I know Joel Eriksson took a shot from Eichel. He went down the tunnel for a second. Injuries potentially behind the scenes are piling up. So who knows just exactly health-wise a week ago to now what things are looking like. But I'm going to look to John Hines. He's a reactionary coach. We've seen it and talked about it all season long. I need him to react and change some stuff here heading into game 5. And I think top of my list, something that has been brought up multiple times all show long here today, which is Marco Rossi has to be elevated. He has to have a more prominent role. He cannot be stuck on that fourth line, not playing for like 10 minutes at a time, and then he gets a small cameo and then taken off. Not that Freddie Gaudreau is necessarily playing poor. It's just he's not a second line playoff center in my mind. I think he can offer a lot in the bottom 6 of the forwards. Marco Rossi needs a little bit more of a cameo in order to help the Wild generate more offensively, because when that first line is having, like we saw today, Kirill gets shadowed, they can't maybe generate as much. You need some secondary scoring, and that's where I feel like Marco Rossi at least has one more chance to prove that he is a guy that, one, deserves to be on this team, deserves to be in a top 6 role. And if he goes out there and gets that opportunity, he doesn't prove himself, then by all means, write him off. Do whatever you want this offseason. But I really think everything he's done behind the scenes, what we've heard, what we know, he has at least earned one more chance. And frankly, what we've seen now the past handful of games, I don't know if it leaves you any choice but to do something like that.
Yeah, and if they're going to continue to shut down Kirill like they did today, you definitely need what you're talking about exactly. Now, I would say there's 2 things. One is I still think this series is very winnable. The Wild has played well enough, and again, I don't see like all these cracks of, oh man, yeah, this is the typical team. Now, hopefully we don't see that. But I think that this series remains winnable. I think game 5 does. I think you can go in there and win. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is, even if they try to shut you down, you're going to need more from the first line. I just think Kirill showed us too much before, and I felt like in watching him in person here today that he was just not as big a factor as he can be. Was some of that because of how the Vegas Golden Knights approached him? Absolutely. I'm sure it was. But some of it was he just didn't have a great day. And that's going to happen. But I really feel like in order to advance, you're going to have Kirill and Boldy from a points perspective go back to being the dynamic duo that they've been. Eriksson just works his ass off. That's his role. That's his role in life. But I still have hope. I don't think I didn't watch a game today where I thought, okay, this is the Wild. This is the team that I know. But yeah, I'm with you. A few adjustments, nothing huge here and there. Gaudreau I'd demote. Nyquist I'd leave here and take someone else. But anyway, yes, I remain positive that this series is very much within reach. And so, and if Gus continues to play like this, he could very easily completely steal another game. I've always said in a playoff series like this, you need your goaltender to steal you 2 to 3 games. Gustafsson's stolen at least 1, if not more. So the possibility definitely exists that he could do exactly that in game 5.
I think we're in a situation here too, like based on where things are going and his level of play. If we go out and watch here on Tuesday night and we stay up late because it's going to be an 11:30 puck drop or whatever it's going to be, and we end that game and it's a 2-0 Minnesota Wild win and Filip Gustavsson has a 39 save shutout, I don't think I'd be shocked. Like I think he is poised with how he's been playing. He's been seeing the puck well. They clearly have made some adjustments to get pucks in more difficult areas on him, but he's been playing so well that I would not be shocked if he has a steal, like a game-stealing performance like you're talking about here on Tuesday night.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Appreciate all of you who participated by appearing, because you didn't call in, messaging. However you appeared, we appreciate that. And, of course, for all the folks who tuned in, we will probably do another show on Monday, I would guess, to preview the Tuesday game. And then, yes, we will stay up late after Tuesday's game to do another Judd's Hockey Show. He's AJ. I'm Judd. We really appreciate you watching this one.